was Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz speaking to us in an exclusive interview. Now we're joined by Fadi Aboualfa, Head of Research at the institutional crypto trading brokerage Copper. Fadi, thank you for joining us this morning. So Novogratz there saying, look, more volatility, more pain ahead until we get some clarity on inflation. Do you agree?
I think the markets are waiting for Wednesday's inflation data. And if there's a little bit of optimism there, you could see markets kind of recover. Maybe they argue that the Fed is actually doing something that's working, but it will depend on what comes out on Wednesday.
Okay. And what do you make of this correlation that we've been seeing between equities and the crypto space? And Novogratz saying, again, that's a consequence of this fire hose, he said, of liquidity from the central banks. Do you see that correlation breaking down at some point this year?
It's possible that things break down. I'm not sure if it would happen this year or not. But at some point, fundamentals will come to play. And the reality is that there's a lot of crypto holders who continue to have the conviction that Bitcoin will eventually go up. And we can see that on the retail side, on the small retail side, who have effectively bought all the new supply that was minted this year. So there still is demand. The correlations are effectively quantitative trading strategies that have linked everything to the NASDAQ. But having said that, there's things that Bitcoin has outperformed. Year to date, Bitcoin is better than Amazon. 50% of the stocks on the NASDAQ are down more than 50%. So is Bitcoin outperforming half the NASDAQ? Someone could say it is.
Okay, 31,700 right now, up about 2.6% in the session today. Is this a good point to get in, Fadi?
The thing with Bitcoin is that it's important to average in. I think a lot of traders have learned that, and a lot of investors have learned that because it is a volatile asset. And effectively, the reason why it's volatile is because nobody knows what its fair value is. If people knew what the fair value of Bitcoin was, there wouldn't be volatility. They'd be trading that. So it's more about if someone wants to invest in Bitcoin, they should have the belief that this is an important instrument to buy. And it's definitely something for long-term investors rather than traders at this point.
I mean, some of these levels seem fairly arbitrary, 30,000 or whatever level you want to pick. I mean, let's go with 30,000. Does that seem a level that is going to kind of support? Is that the base at this point, given the market conditions?
Well, if you look at the on-chain data and what's available for sale for Bitcoin, we're still well below the number that we've seen at different points in time when Bitcoin was traded at 30,000. So if we look at available supply, it's arguable that Bitcoin right now is undervalued. But having said that, it's probably a good idea also to look at the crypto ecosystem as a whole and what's being built out there, rather than just focusing on Bitcoin. There's a lot of interesting products and interesting financial services that are coming out of the whole crypto wider ecosystem that is very important to keep an eye on.
And it's the build out of the infrastructure within that ecosystem, as you say, that's clearly proving attractive for institutional investors. Talk to us a little bit more about the buying that you're seeing and that commitment from the institutional investor, whether or not you're seeing any signs of wavering, and if not, where are they directing their capital at this point within that ecosystem?
I think the ecosystem is growing, and it's mainly about the overall infrastructure that's being built out that institutions will have access to. And the irony is that institutions actually have much more robust tools available to them today to interact safely within the crypto ecosystem. And there are interesting financial products being built out. So, it's not hard to imagine that securities get tokenized, and these sort of tools that were reserved for wealthy clientele become accessible to everyone, such as security-backed loans. And we already see that with crypto collateral in the DeFi space, and it's not hard to imagine people being able to take out interest-free loans perpetually on DeFi against collateral, say, to a tokenized S&P 500 ETF.
What is the shorting activity that you're seeing for Bitcoin at this point? Are you seeing a pickup in shorts as liquidity starts to become more of a constraint?
No, we haven't seen anything in terms of shorting. I think one of the interesting things to keep an eye on is the cash and carry plays that is going to. It hasn't been very interesting in the past year. Premiums were at 10, 20%. Now the cash and carry premiums are around 5%. Perhaps it's arguable that maybe someone says we're heading into a recession, and so maybe that 5% nearly risk-free is a good bet to take. And so that would require someone to actually buy Bitcoin to take that position.
Okay, interesting. So watch the cash and carry premium on Bitcoin. Fadi